Hello and welcome to our next episode of Talon Talk. Thanks for joining us today. Here at Talon Talk, we like to connect the campus to the community. And today I have a very special guest with me. This young lady is a graduate from Mahone Acre High School. She is a lifelong resident of Swords Creek. She is graduating from our engineering program. She's also finishing up the music program as well. She's transferring out from here to Virginia Tech. She's went through our honors program, and she's been accepted into Virginia Tech's engineering school and their honors program. She currently serves as the PTK President. I'm honored to have Miss Annaleigh Rowe with us today. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Brandon.
So, that's a lot.
Yes.
That was a whole lot. So, I know your time is a premium, so we're going to jump straight in if that's okay.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
And start with our first question. With that kind of bio and with that much like stuff going on, you must have a pretty solid support system around you. Who are the three most influential people?
Okay. Well, for the top two, I definitely have to say my parents. My parents have supported me since I was little up. I was a miracle baby because my mom wasn't supposed to be able to have children, and then she had me. So they have supported me with anything I wanted to do. And then my grandfather, which has passed away, but he spoiled me to death, and he did anything he could for me. So I live for him all I can.
That's awesome. It's awesome. So that strong support system behind you, that's super important. You can't undersell that. Here you've done engineering, and at Southwest we have a really strong engineering program, but you're involved in several other things too. On campus, who has been like a professional mentor for you?
Okay, so is it okay if I say a couple?
You can Mount Rushmore and do 4 if you want to. That's fine.
Well, somebody I had met not long after coming to campus was Jacob Richardson. I know that he started coming to my karate class, which I'm not the teacher of it, but I am a 4th degree black belt. And whenever he had started coming, I got to meet him, and he has really just helped me with anything I had needed to do and been a really big support that way. And then my tutor boss, I also tutor, so yes, very much. But Beth Gianotto, she's been there for me with anything I needed. If it was a hug, shoulder to cry on, if it was help with my classes, she's always been there.
Awesome. Jacob, we've had Jacob on.
Yes.
He was one of our very first guests on Talon Talk. And I like to give Jacob a hard time because that's just what I do. But Beth, we're going to have to get Beth on here.
Yes.
You work on Beth, and I work on Beth. We'll get her on here. Those are two solid. So you're going into engineering. You're transferring into Virginia Tech. Now, we know you're doing music. We know that you're doing engineering. But if you could do something different than your major, if you could pick a different career path, what would you do?
Different than engineering or music or both?
Different than both.
Okay. See, I've always told myself if I wasn't going to be an engineer, I would love to have made it in music, like doing theater or something. But if I can't do either, I'd probably want to be a teacher. I just want to help people. That's my main thing. I love to help people any way I can. So if I'd have to teach, I would be okay with that.
What would you teach?
Engineering.
Engineering. That makes sense.
Or math.
So that engineering people, math people, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Cool beans, man. So this idea of helping, is that what got you into martial arts? Because you mentioned that you're a black belt.
Yes.
A 4th degree black belt, correct?
Yes.
So what got you going down that path?
Okay, well, short answer, my parents, I was a very energetic kid, and my parents were like, she needs something to get her energy out. So it started off as just me being a little kid, having too much energy and needing to get it out. But it turned into something much more as I got older. It taught me discipline, it taught me respect, it taught me how to defend myself if I was ever in a need to do that. And now, looking back on it, I ended up leaving karate for a few years and came back after I graduated high school. And teaching is such a different experience than learning. I would have to say whenever you get your black belt, you're still learning in karate, but whenever you get it, you are also helping others get to the point where you are.
What style do you do?
Okinawan Kempo karate. So.
Shameless plug, because not only does Jacob Richardson go to your dojo, so do my children. So this is technically my children's sensei that we're interviewing today. That's really neat. So you've got the music, the engineering, and the martial arts. Anything else that you do, like a hobby or outside of those three things that fills your time?
Well, I go to church, and I'm the piano player at my church, so I help out there. And then I also do guitar lessons, and I plan on hopefully teaching piano lessons soon. So other than that, that's about all the time I have.
I feel like that probably should take up about 28 hours of the 24 you have every day. That's quite amazing. I did not know that you did the piano and guitar lessons. Mm-hmm. So, looking back over your time at Southwest, you've been here for 2 years, correct?
Yes.
What is your funniest memory or best memory, or both?
I would have to say, like, some of the funnest and funniest memories have come from all the trips I've been on. Like, in New York City, we randomly ran into so many different, like, Marvel characters and stuff just on the streets, and that was really fun. This is kind of funny to look back on, but not funny in the moment. We had somebody in Washington, D.C. chase one of my friends saying, "Give me that burger," at you. And so we had to sprint across the street just to get away from him, but it's so funny to look back on now.
So you've got to travel quite a bit.
Yes.
Where all have you been with the college?
I have been to Washington, D.C., New York City, Dallas, Texas, and Italy.
Italy. Where in Italy?
Rome, Venice, and Florence.
So that's a pretty extensive trip just to Italy. Top 3 things from Italy.
Top 3 things. Food is amazing. The friendships I made there were also just as amazing. And you have to go see the Roman Colosseum.
The Roman Colosseum. I guess from a martial arts person, that'd be great. What do you think, like, because Southwest, we want to, like, enrich the whole person, right? Mm-hmm. We want to teach you academically, but we also want to create other opportunities for learning. What has been the one thing that, like, one moment from a trip, or maybe it wasn't a trip, the one thing that stuck out to you that'll be like, no matter how long I live, no matter what I do in my life, I'm going to remember this thing? Do you have that moment where you're like...
One of those moments would definitely have to be on the Italy trip. Whenever we got to Venice, it was just a surreal, like, I didn't feel like I was there. I felt like I was on another planet whenever I had got there. And just being with all of the friends I was with that was around me, it was just so surreal. That's awesome. Getting the opportunity to travel like that. Yes. Maybe one day someone will convince me to get on an airplane again, and I'll do that. Cool beans, man. So we've kind of covered your time here, and we've kind of got to know you, like, a little bit professionally and stuff like that. But I want our folks to get to know you more. You're going to be giving an intro at graduation in the next couple weeks here to our distinguished alumni. She is a fantastic lady. We're going to have her on later, so I'm not going to spoil that. But I do want to like get to know you more than just academically or whatever. So what is one thing about you that people misjudge or people underestimate? I was going to talk about how, like, some people will look at me and I'll tell them, like, I do karate, and then they'll look at me and be like, I cannot see that in you. Like, they see me as somebody who could never do karate or never beat somebody up, which I never would, unless it just came down to it. Except Jacob that one time, but that's fine. Yeah, he's Jacob.
So, knowing that, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay, this is very random.
Okay, that's fine.
Chalkboards and nails.
Oh, no, that's not random at all. It's not random at all. So, like, I can't stand, this is really weird, but the same feeling that people get when, like, the nails go down chalkboard, I get when I feel like those little porcelain things that are, I can't even think about it. It gives me, like, I can't do it. So, not chalkboard.
Yeah, maybe that's very common. But I guess another one of mine would have to be if I'm thinking of like how I'm doing something in my head, which this is horrible whenever I'm working with people. But whenever I'm thinking of something in my head of how I want to do it, and then somebody else goes and does it completely opposite of how I want to, oh, it gets on my nerves.
So, you plan things, right?
Yes, I plan out very well.
I figure you probably have to do all the things that you do. I figure your life would probably have to be very, very structured. Right now, if we was to like take a snapshot, what are you listening to? What podcast are you listening to? What video games are you playing? If you do that, what movies or shows or books? What are you doing if you have any leisure time?
Well, right now I have recently been watching anime.
Okay.
I don't know how I got into it, but I did. But that's only when I have those very few hours out of the 28.
So, what have you been watching as far as anime?
I've been watching My Hero and Death Note. So I really like both of those. And when I'm not listening to that, I'm watching Minecraft on YouTube.
Minecraft. So that's something that I'm learning about a lot. I also saw you watching The Mandalorian.
Yes, I love me some Star Wars and Marvel.
Star Wars, Marvel, Minecraft.
I'm real rounded.
You know, it's you got all the bases covered. The basics are knocked out. That's important. So you're getting ready to transfer off to Virginia Tech. What are you most excited about?
Well, I guess this is excitement and nerves, but I'm really excited to be out on my own, like not under my parents' roof, but not for the wrong reasons, just to be out on my own.
Mm-hmm. What are you most nervous about?
I think this is just random nerves, but I'm afraid I'm going to get up there and then it's going to be too hard for me, although I've seen many signs that this is what I really want to do.
I would think that if you can hold down everything that you're holding down here, you may have to let go of, a guitar lesson here or there, or, one of the other majors that you're doing, but I think you'll be able to knock it out. Now, this podcast, we're not going to go too long, because I know your time's a premium, but I do want to, if you could go back in time, I want to ask this question and give your high school self one piece of advice. What would it be?
If I could go back and give myself a piece of advice in high school, I would definitely say that don't worry, like, whenever you're going off to a new school, because of Southwest, you'll have friends behind your back that you didn't know existed at the time. You'll make so many new memories that you will never forget.
Last question. It's a hard one. Are you ready?
Maybe.
So, if you don't know, the coffee game has changed slightly in Richlands. It used to be, which McDonald's are you getting your coffee from? Now we have a Starbucks. So if you roll up into Starbucks, what do you order?
Okay, so no hate to the coffee lovers out there, but I personally do not like coffee. Jacob and Lisa, who have both been on here already, they have both tried to convince me to start liking coffee. But it's just not worked. So I would get a pink drink with no inclusions because I hate mixing my drink with something to eat in it. Mm-hmm. And I get the cold foam on top.
Pink drink with cold foam.
Yeah.
That's a new one. I've not heard that one before. I have to remember that. You need to try. This is just, there is a caramel crunch frappe that is pretty much a crunchy milkshake. tell them to hold the crunch part and just do the caramel frappe, and it's a game changer.
Okay.
My
I love
son-
caramel.
My son's all about that life. My wife got it with a couple shots of espresso in it and said it was really good too, but you're not in the coffee. So, Annaleigh, thank you. For those of you that don't know, Annaleigh got 0 prep time for this. We called her, and she just graciously agreed to jump on today. I needed to get you before you graduated and went off and changed the world. For a parting shot for our folks that are watching or listening, we talked about misconceptions about you. What is one thing that you would tell everybody about Southwest?
One thing I would tell everybody at Southwest is definitely don't overlook it, especially if you're looking at coming here, because you don't know what you'll get yourself into if you don't come here.
Opportunities are pretty endless.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining us today. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us, for sitting down and listening to us talk today. Keep your eyes out for more coming soon. Right now, registration is open, so if you want to hop over to our website, you can register for classes. You can look at some of these travel opportunities that Annaleigh was talking about, and she can get you. We can get you connected with all of those different opportunities and programs we have. Again, thank you, and we hope to hear from you again on Talon Talk.